Hey Bookies, I'm back once again with another episode of Let's Talk About It. So, let's talk about men's mental health. I don't think that that's focused on enough when it comes to mental health. And I know that signs show differently in men than what it does in women. Why? I don't know. But like I said, it's not being talked about enough. And the growing rate of suicide is substantial when it comes to men and mental health issues and mental health awareness. When it comes to that, I'm noticing a lot more suicide coming from men, and it's not fair because they need help too, and they're not getting the resources that they need or reaching out to the right type of people in order to get those resources that they need. But yes, men need therapy too. Men need to be reached out to. They need to be checked on too. Just like you have those friends that smile every day, that's always lending a hand whenever someone needs help. There's the friend that you always call on whenever you need something, need a favor, or just want to go out. Those are the friends that hide behind the mask. And the mask is mental illness. And they put this mask on and they put on the front every day. Every single day. They get up, do the same routine. Brush your teeth, use the bathroom, take a shower, put on their work clothes, go to work, be productive, come back home, be productive, hang out with friends, and be productive and enjoying life, and or being married to a spouse or having children, and then one day they just decided to flip the script and said enough is enough. I guess I'm tired of faking it. And like I said, a lot of people end up with going through suicide. And that's a lot. Because it's like it makes you question, like, okay, what was this person going through within that time frame? Or what led them to that? Or what type of childhood trauma did they have in order to say, okay, today's the day to where this is what I'm going to do. And today's the day to where I leave my kids without a dad. Or I leave my wife widowed. I leave my best friends behind. Like, what type of mindset and space you were in as far as suicidal thoughts. And just saying today is the day and I'm going to do it. And some don't even leave a letter. So, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 because you don't know why they did it. You don't know why they did it. But then, again, you don't have, like, a handwritten letter to state why they did it. And that's even more, questionable. That makes you question a lot of things, like, especially on the spouse's part, or the children's part, or the friend's part. Like, hey, there was something that, maybe I could have done better. Or as a wife, as a spouse. They start to blame themselves, guilt tripping. Maybe I should have done more. Maybe I should have did this. Maybe I should have talked to him. Or, made it a safe space to where he can open up to me and it won't be judgmental. I won't judge him because I love him just that much to where I won't judge him. And whatever he's going through, I want to help him with that. But now it's too late and I can't do that. And I don't understand why he did it. So when it comes to, like I said, mental health in men, I don't know. Like I said, that's a hard one. They could know that they have a problem, but I guess seeking help about that problem is what get them in a mind state. Like, oh, I guess, they're not going to really help me, or, talking about my feelings or talking about my childhood trauma, it's not going to fix it. That's not going to help. And the only way that they can escape is to unalive, which I think is sad, because there's so many resources when it comes to mental health for women and men. And that's a really strong topic as far as let's talk about it, because a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't talk about their feelings. They don't talk about seeking help whenever they have issues. It's almost like therapy and being on medications or speaking to someone is kind of like a silent club, or like a secret that you just can't let out, or you can't talk to anybody about it, or family members even, because they'll be like, especially like I said, growing up in black households, they'll be like, oh, well, what you seeking therapy for? What you talking to them about for? What you telling them people? And this is that and the third, and you didn't have no childhood trauma, you didn't have this, you didn't have that, da 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 da. So it's just like burning two candles at the end of the stick. Like, can't talk to my family about it, And I'm not talking about me, I'm just talking about in general. Like, hey, I can't talk to my family about it. Can't talk to my friends because they won't understand or know or how to give me support when I'm in a dark space, or how to get me out of that dark space and what to do. And I guess the opposite person don't want to feel like, I'm throwing my baggage onto my friends, or I'm throwing my baggage onto my family, or I'm throwing my baggage onto my wife and my kids, and they shouldn't have to carry that load for me. And like I said, contemplating it and going through with it might have, like I said, have been that only choice that they had at the moment when they were in the process. But yeah, and sometimes family can make it really, really hard, when it comes to mental illness, because they will tell you that, you're just making it up for attention, ain't nothing really wrong with you, or whatever, you're fine, you don't need to seek mental health. Or like I said, for men, growing up in a black household, and especially if you were the only boy, they expected you, to basically tough it out, stick your chest out, toughen it out, you'll be alright, you got this. Boys not supposed to cry. Boys not supposed to cry. Boys not supposed to show weakness. And that right there is the reason why little boys grow up in an environment to where they can't talk about their emotions. They can't cry about something, because that's how they were raised. That's how they were programmed and trained from their parents, or from, relatives, that they're supposed to be this way. They're supposed to not cry, not talk about their feelings. I don't want to hear about that. Da da da. You're just complaining. Da da da. Or you making stuff up for attention. And I guess, like I said, that's why it's difficult as an adult male to express their feelings and to cry about it when they need help. And sometimes, not all times, but sometimes the signs are literally right there. They're in your face and you don't see it. And when they commit suicide, you didn't see it coming, because it hit you like a Mack truck. You did not see that coming. And you start to question yourself, well, what were they, after the fact it's been done, what were they going through? What were they going through? Why would they do that? They had a good life. You don't know that they had a good life. You don't know what they were going through mentally every single day, masking. Every single day they show up to work with a good smile. They were a good employee. They showed up for their wives. They were good husbands. They were good fathers. They were a good brother. They were a good son. And one day you wake up and that's gone. And it's all gone. And you don't understand why. You don't understand why. Why would they do that? It's always the question, why? And like I said, a lot of black households, like I said, don't believe in therapy. Or, growing up, that's what I thought. Because, I don't know. But a lot of black households don't believe in therapy or going talking to them people, telling all our business or whatever the case may be. But, yeah, they were trained, men were trained and programmed since little boys, kids, babies, to not cry and not express emotion. So as an adult, they carry that emotion with them. They carry that burden with them. They carry that childhood trauma with them. And it's been carried on for so long. Since a child, it's been carried for so long. And now you got to add another load because now you got a full-time job, you got a wife, you got kids, you got maybe a sick family member that needs you, and now you're throwing more responsibility on your shoulders. And now it's getting heavier and heavier. It's getting heavier to where you can't stand it anymore. You can't hold yourself up no more. You can't stand up straight because it's getting too heavy. And it's understandable. But there's ways that it could have been prevented. It could have been prevented. It really could have. Even with, what was that guy's name on Ellen DeGeneres? Twitch. He was a dancer. I think he played in a couple of Step Up movies too. He committed suicide. And he had a wife and a family, kids and stuff. And he didn't even leave a letter. He just did it. And I used to love him because he played on Step Up. He was in a lot of dance competitions, and I love Twitch. And when I first heard about it on social media, I was like, wow, I did not see that coming. Nobody saw it coming. His wife didn't see it coming. His kids that he left behind didn't see it coming. None of his fans that loved him saw that coming. And it's like, and my first question was, what was he going through mentally? To where he didn't feel comfortable in a safe space or in a safe environment to where he can share those thoughts and let those emotions out in order to get out of that dark place, to where he won't be in that dark place no more. And it's sad and it's unfortunate it led to that, yes. But yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for, like I said, mental health awareness and mental illness. But I'm also an advocate for black men as well. Get therapy. There's nothing to be ashamed about of getting therapy. There's nothing ashamed about talking about your emotions. There's nothing to be ashamed about crying. There's nothing to be ashamed about talking about your childhood trauma. Because your childhood trauma shapes and molds you as to how you're going to be an adult. You can either follow in those same footsteps and don't break those generational curses, or you can break those generational curses of what you grew up in, and you can do different with your kids or your spouse or whoever. But yeah, definitely this is a topic that needed to be talked about, because it's not just women that deal with mental illness or mental health. It's definitely men too. It's men too. And like I said, it's black men. It's black men. Because like I said, growing up in black households, a lot of things were different. They were trained and programmed to operate differently. And that's scary. Because now you have to bury a loved one and you don't know why. You don't know why you have to bury a loved one. And the first thing they say, oh, I didn't see that coming. Why did they do that? Why would they do such a thing? Why would they leave us behind like that? Why would they not say nothing? Because you programmed them that way. You programmed them to keep their mouth shut. You programmed them to stick their chests out and tough it out. You trained them and programmed them that way not to cry, not to express their emotions, not to talk about it. What happens in this house stays in this house. That's what that led to. And now you gotta bury them. Now you gotta bury your loved ones because of that, because of those type of sayings. Growing up in a black household. But yeah, I'm definitely an advocate for black men getting mental health. Definitely. And opening up and talking and sharing your experiences. And there is no judgment. There is no judgment in getting therapy. You can definitely get therapy. You don't even have to be on medication. You just got to get it out. Talk it out. Let all that trauma go. So that way you can move on with your life. And you can be a better husband or a better father or an uncle, brother, whatever. But yes, you have to get it out. Because it's a lot of things that are, just like I said, kind of like taboo. Growing up within black households. Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I think men need to get mental health options as well. And have different resources, reach out to them, or if they find a different resource, reach out to them. And within my podcast, I'm going to start adding resources to which you can get therapy and different mental health resources as well. And I'm going to start adding that to my podcast as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. And I will see y'all next time on Let's Talk About It. So tune in to the next episode, please. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jazz the Podcaster. Thank you. And y'all have a lovely night. Appreciate y'all.